So joining me now, Ohio Senator Rob Portman, a volunteer in a late-stage trial in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Senator, great to have you here tonight. Thanks for being here. So
Thanks,
you
Martha.
heard the governor of New York. He said, you know, it's just money. Of course, all these pharma companies were rushing to create a vaccine, and it's the president's ego, and he did nothing to move this whole process forward. What do you say to him?
Well, it's not about money and ego. It's in fact about science and data and safety and saving lives. And let's face it, Operation Warp Speed has worked miraculously. It's a private-public partnership that allows us to do two things. One, yes, encourage the development of these new vaccines as quickly as possible, and Congress provided $27 billion, as you know, in the CARES Act to do that. But second, what was brilliant, I think, by the Trump administration was to say there will be a dual track. At the same time, we'll be manufacturing this vaccine, which, as you heard earlier, normally takes years. So you have the development of the vaccine and the manufacturing going on two tracks at the same time. If the FDA approval doesn't come, you throw away those vials. But if it does come, which we hope it will, for Moderna and Pfizer, which are out front, it appears, with 90 and 95% efficiency, unbelievable, effective rates of 95%, that's just extraordinary, then those vaccines are ready to go, and you can get them on the market right away. So I think it was really smart the way they did it, and I think it's a great example of where the public sector and the private sector can come together for a success.
Yeah,
it's irresponsible and reckless to say that this is not safe. That's playing politics with people's lives. It's playing politics with the health care in our communities, and it's just wrong, and it really saddens me.
It has an impact, too, and we should point out that we reached a grim milestone today, 250,000 deaths, 250,000 deaths from COVID in this country. So while you've got this second wave surge going on that is obviously a very difficult situation for a lot of people, on the other side of the equation, you have this really impressive process so far, and we all hope that it passes these safety bars that it has to pass. And there's been a lot of reluctance on the part of people in polling, at least, whether or not they're going to take it, whether or not they feel safe taking it. And you did something to do your part to try to perpetuate confidence in this. You took the vaccine in the trial. You don't know whether you got a placebo or not, I assume, but how did it all go? Tell everybody.
No, look, it went great, and I would encourage people to sign up. I signed up for the study because we have in our state of Ohio a company that does these studies all over the country, and I had gone for a briefing, and they told me it's difficult sometimes to get people to enter into the trials. And I said, well, what if I did it? would that be helpful? And they said, sure, if you're willing to go public and say that you did it and, you know, it was a good experience and so on. So I did it. You have to go through a questionnaire. You have to answer a lot of questions about your health care. You got to be sure that you're the right person for the trial. And when you get into the trial, you have to keep a daily diary for a week. And then now I do it every Monday and Thursday. But I think it's a tremendous way for people to step forward and help.
Did you feel sick afterwards?
No, I didn't. I've been feeling great. And I joked today, maybe I got the placebo and it was caffeine because I've been feeling pumped up, you know. Maybe I got the vaccine. Maybe. I don't know. So, and I will never know. You know, half the people get the placebo, half the people get the vaccine. And these studies that are coming out are just phenomenal. And this has all happened since I entered into the trial. But again, 94.5% and 95% effectiveness for these vaccines. With the flu vaccine, I'm told it's about 30% effective.
Well, eventually you're going to have to get an antibody test to see whether or not you need to take the vaccine again, I guess. I wanted to play this for you from Joe Biden, though, because there's concern out there that there's not enough coordination between the Biden team and the Trump team at this really crucial time in this process. Here's what he said.
When these vaccines comes out, how they'll be distributed, who'll be first in line, what the plan is. There's a whole lot of things that we just don't have available to us, which unless it's made available soon, we're going to be behind by weeks or months.
What would you advise the White House to do about that?
Well, two things. One, a lot of the people who are involved in this, as you know, are not political people. In other words, they aren't going to leave the administration. Dr. Fauci is a great example of that. I think he's served under something like 7 presidents.
Right.
So he's going to have the expertise, regardless of what happens in these final weeks here. Second, I do think the information ought to be provided. I think that is not harmful, and I think it's important that people understand, both, by the way, in the Congress and others, to be sure that there isn't any gap in knowledge. I think it's pretty clear what's happening, which is that We hope by the end of this year there'll be, tens of millions of these doses available, and they will go first to people who are in health care, and that's good, frontline workers, particularly in the nursing homes, where the nursing home infections tend to be people going in and out of the nursing home, people who are patients, and then people like first responders. So I think that's appropriate. And then it'll go to the most vulnerable, and I think that's appropriate. But no, look, everybody needs to know what the plan is, but I think it's a solid plan. And I think it's good that the military is involved in the logistics of it, because it is an enormous undertaking.
Yeah, the way they've done it. And as you say, I think it's important for everybody to be on the same page and have a lot of communication going on here.
I think it's good.
Senator, thank you
good.
very much.
Thank
Senator
you, Martha.
Portman, good to speak with you tonight.
Take care.